So with every NBA draft comes a lot of hype, expectations, and just hope for the future, especially for NBA fans whose teams may be in a winning drought. And within each draft, the player comparison each prospect gets from various experts or mock drafts helps to give us a decent idea of what to actually expect from them. However, as we all should know, comparisons are very hit or miss. Sometimes they're right on the money like John Morant and Derrick Rose, and other times it's an airball like Jason Tatum and Harrison Barnes. And as the 2021 NBA draft approaches, I've already seen plenty comparisons that I believe could age well and others that probably won't. So yeah, today we're going to look at a few of the best and worst comparisons in this 2021 NBA draft. And I'll probably make a part 2 for lottery prospects I don't get to. But really quick before I move on, go ahead and comment a comparison you think would actually age well. And yeah, what's up YouTube, Plug Speaks, back with a vid. If you are new, first of all, welcome, go ahead and sub. Also like the vid if you enjoy. I drop bangers 3 to 4 times a week. And we are grinding for 5K, so I'd for sure appreciate it. But back to the vid though. So I'm trying to start on a positive note, right? So this first comparison is one that I believe is pretty accurate. First up, we got Cade Cunningham and Luka Doncic. And I'm sure y'all have heard this one already, or at least you have if you watched the NCAA tournament. But yeah, they're pretty similar. Their physical builds are really similar with their height and weight. Neither of them are super athletic, and they just share a lot of the same abilities. Cade Cunningham is well known for his ability to make clever passes, his ability to score in so many ways, and he has a go-to signature step back move just like Luka. Plus, he can run the floor, and he just has that very important entertaining factor to his game. He's fun to watch, just like Luka. And mind you, I don't really like draft comparisons that create huge expectations like the one Trae Young had to Steph Curry. However, most of us see Cade as the #1 pick, and an all-star or superstar level of play is expected at some point in the man's career. Plus, Luka is only in his 3rd season. I'm not comparing him to some NBA legend. So yeah, this comparison seems good to me. But next, we've got what could be a poor comparison, which is Baylor's Davion Mitchell and the LA Clippers' Patrick Beverley. Now, I won't pretend this makes no sense. Not only do they share similar body frames, but they also share good defense. Beverley is well known for his grit and relentless defense. He's one of the NBA's best guard defenders, and Davion Mitchell is a lottery prospect that earned National Defensive Player of the Year in college. However, acting as if defense is Davion's main or best quality is not the move. Sure, defense is important, of course, but defense alone does not have this man in a lottery spot. Davion is fresh off shooting 45% from 3 on almost 5 attempts a game in college. Plus his game just has more swag, to be honest. He's way smoother than Beverley. He's got a nice dribble package. He can take defenders off the dribble. He knows how to play make. Basically, his offense is just far too solid for him to be compared to Beverley. They should have compared him to Marcus Smart, who's honestly underrated as a scorer. But moving on to yet another accurate comparison, we've got UConn's James Bouknight and the Bulls' Zach LaVine. And this really might be the closest comparison in the entire draft. If not, it's top 3. And I say that because they share the same height, same thing for weight, and then the way they actually score the ball is basically the same as well. Because as we all know, Zach LaVine is super athletic and acrobatic. That man can pull off dunks that we've never even seen before. But believe it or not, Bouknight shares a lot of the same skills. Now listen, I'm not saying Bouknight is the next great dunker or anything like that, but I will say I won't be surprised if he catches other people off guard with his performances, because LaVine's athleticism helps him pull off a lot of his finishes around the basket. And if we are talking about strictly finishing around the basket, Bouknight can pull off most of the stuff Zach LaVine can do. Just go to your search bar and look up Bouknight highlights at UConn. You will not be disappointed. It's just a great comparison. But I can't leave out the fact that I'm really talking about Timberwolves LaVine, meaning that at this point, LaVine can score from anywhere. He averages like over 25 a game on the Bulls. You don't do that by only scoring near the rim. So yeah, he takes deep threes, step backs, and Book Knight hasn't really developed that perimeter game as of yet. But he's still a lottery talent, make no mistake, and I really believe they just compare nicely. But moving on to this next poor comparison, and this may disappoint a few of y'all, but it's Jalen Green and Kobe Bryant. Now off the jump, y'all, this is not Jalen Green slander. We're fans of Jalen Green over here. I mean, he's one of the most fun players to watch in this draft, no question. However, the Kobe comparisons are a bit too much, and I've seen it on various mock drafts, comment sections, and just general social media. Now they actually share a few things, but let's be real, a Kobe comparison sets Jalen Green up for unfair and very ridiculous expectations. Plus their playstyles are not as close as some may believe, because sure, from a physical standpoint it makes sense, they're around the same height, and if you look at Kobe's physical build when he was first drafted, he was fairly skinny, and Jalen Green sort of resembles that build. They also share a great level of athleticism and airborne abilities around the rim, but there's much more to Kobe than that, or even a young Kobe. We cannot forget the footwork within the perimeter, the fadeaways, and the overall intensity. So it is subjective, and I understand how the playstyles relate, but it doesn't seem all that identical to me. But definitely let me know what you think of that comparison in the comments. But moving on to another solid close comparison, there's Jalen Suggs and Jrue Holiday. And I really like this one because I already know some may look at it and feel as if I'm selling Jalen Suggs short, but that could not be further from the truth. Jrue Holiday is very underrated, and he's a much better scorer than people realize. But now as far as the comparison, at this point Jrue Holiday is much more bulky, but he came into the league with a build much closer to Jalen Suggs. They're also both 6'4", and the major similarity is simply that both of their games revolve around being a two-way player and a two-way threat. Jrue Holiday is one of the league's best guard defenders. Players like Damian Lillard, who is one of the NBA's most unguardable players, have come out and given Jrue praise, and Jalen Suggs is pretty well known for defense himself. So yeah, that quality of providing both offense and defense at an elite level really ties them together. Plus, neither of them really rely on threes. They can both shoot it, but choose to attack the basket and get money near the rim more often. So yeah, it's just a great comparison. But on to this last comparison, which I believe to be pretty poor. We've got Sharif Cooper and Tyler Euless. Now it's easy to see how they compare. I mean, short guards that make it this far tend to be pretty good and share a lot of the same skills. But to be honest, this is poor mostly because Tyler Euless is barely in the league. And it doesn't please me to say that because Tyler was fun to watch at Kentucky, but his size just held him back in the pros. But Sharif Cooper is undersized as well, and yet he's almost a lottery pick, and it's because he does some of the same things, but also different things, and he does them better, such as amazing playmaking or finishing with contact. He can't even shoot like Tyler Euless can, and yet I still find him as a more reliable overall scorer. So yeah, that comparison I really do not hop on board with. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Y'all let me know if you feel the same way about these comparisons. It'll definitely be interesting to see how these prospects actually pan out. And yeah, also let me know if you want a part 2. And yeah, I appreciate y'all watching as always. Like the sub, share it, sub if new, all of that. And I'm out.